This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you, Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, and very, very proud to be the Patriot. Good Wednesday morning. On his way in, he'll be our special guest. We called and asked Mr. Kurt Prenzler, the Madison County, Illinois treasurer, and the Republican candidate for Madison County board chairman. We called. Very nice gentleman, very receptive. He's coming in to talk to the good people of Madison County and the surrounding area. And as always, Mr. Prenzler's not coming in to endorse me, to endorse my language, to endorse my philosophy, to endorse my looks or anything about me. So don't hold what I say against Mr. Prenzler. And don't give me credit for what Mr. Prenzler says, because he's going to be intelligent, and I don't want people to think that I'm intelligent, because I'm really not. If I was intelligent, I wouldn't be here on the air. I'd be someplace down in the Bahamas. But I want to fight the fight like the rest of us good people do. You know, the warriors, our heroes, our military heroes. You think they wanted to be in all these wars? No, their country, their Uncle Sam asked them to go, and they went. They'd rather be on the beaches somewhere swimming instead of being in the jungles fighting. And I'm the same way. I just feel compelled, people. And I said yesterday about all the parades and picnics, it's humbling, the great response that the radio station gets, that I get, that the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition gets. It's very, very humbling. But just remember, people, I'm just the messenger. I'm just a messenger bringing the message that we all want to speak and we all want to hear. We're tired of this political corruption in St. Clair County, in Madison County. And when Mr. Prenzler comes in, we'll talk to him about it. He's relatively new. He kind of broke the mold. There's not a lot of Republicans that were getting elected in Madison County, and I want to salute Mr. Prenzler and all the Republicans. And if the Republicans would have been in office all these years in Madison County and been corrupt, I'd be saluting the Democrats. Because as you guys know, I don't give a damn about party politics. We care about voting the person who is qualified, not the party. Because you can't tell me that every Democrat on every ballot is better than every Republican on every ballot, or vice versa, that every Republican is better than every Democrat. That's bull crap. It's the organizational people that keep us going. But anyway, Mr. Kurt Prenzler will be in momentarily. And that's my disclaimer to all the political people that come on in the past, in the present, or in the future. They're here to let the people know about them, about their political philosophy, about their public service agenda, and what they're going to do. So don't ever hold what I say against any of the guests. Okay, let's get down to some dirty business. The development at the shrine. Impact strategies. They're running all around trying to get this bad report pulled off the table. Now, there's 2 or 3 people working out there again today. So you good people in Belleville, I don't want to keep pounding on it, but you have to pound on it to get everybody the education they need about what's going on with your Belleville politicians. You remember old Mayor Mark Pussy Boy, also known as Maximus Vaginus Eckert? He lied to you people. He said, hey, the Keller Group's a great group. We're going to give $38 million in tax incentives. The good people of Belleville, the hardworking taxpayers, you guys have already paid over $2 million for the infrastructure, for the streets, for the water, for the sewer. Now, I hope that Hoff Brew House does become a reality because we need another nice restaurant. But that's all there's going to be. There's not going to be the soccer parks that Eckert promised. There's not going to be the 5-star hotels, the 4 or 5-star hotels that Eckert promised. Well, I don't know if he's talking about me or Eckert, but hey, if I'm a liar, Eckert's a bigger liar. But he's promised everything, people. They didn't. And here's the biggest point that I'm trying to make. His incompetency. He did not vet these people, this Keller Group out of Effingham, Illinois. If I would have been the mayor, if any of you good people out there, you intelligent people, well, if you're listening to my show, you're not real intelligent, but the somewhat intelligent people, you would have made sure to say, hey, Mr. Keller, what big hotel is coming? I want to see the commitment papers. Hey, Mr. Keller, I want to see the financial statements. I want to see the banks. They're obligated to give you this money before we spend $2 million of my citizens, my bosses, hardworking taxpayers' money. Everything should have been vetted. Eckert vetted nothing. And not only are you guys going to lose out, it shows what a complete political idiot, how incompetent Mayor Mark Pussy Boy, also known as Maximus Vaginus Eckert, is. He's not qualified. He's up for election in April. I hope you people remember this. Well, if you don't, I'll keep reminding you. You know that. But we'll put that impact strategy situation to rest. But in the newspaper, and I told you, impact strategy would have never got this development if Eckert hadn't pushed Keller towards impact strategy, I guarantee you. And guess who works for impact strategy? A lot more political inbreeding. Luke Eckert, an assistant fireman, an assistant supervisor, who was Mayor Mark Pussy Boy Maximus Vaginus Eckert's son. What does that tell you, people? All this inbreeding throughout St. Clair County, throughout Belleville, throughout the democratic culture of corruption. It's unbelievable. Luke probably makes $100,000 a year. But whenever the newspaper, and the newspaper is just printing what impact strategy and the mayor have gotten together to say, but in my hand, and I'm reading it again, and it's an official impact strategy letterhead. It's their official statement, and it got out to the public. See, politicians don't like to be transparent. They don't like things to get out to the public. Impact lost all week on critical path due to subcontractors pulling off job site due to their payment status, lack of payment, and unanswered questions and owner-supplied material information. Let me kind of tell you what all that means. Let me interpret this. Pulling off the site due to their payment status. They weren't getting paid. Unanswered questions. Keller Group couldn't tell them when they were getting paid or what's going on. And owner-supplied material information. That what's happening, Keller Group? Keller Group's been out of the picture. When you've got one or two people, contract people, working on a big project like that, you know something's wrong. Half their crap or 2/3 of their crap is not finished. You heard me a couple days ago. All the roof screens, 10% are in. Toilet, and that's what we need up there. If you're going to eat, you got to crap. Toilet accessories, 0%. Painting and finishing, 0%. Roof and floor tiling, 0%. Frames, doors, 0%. Building installation, sheet metal, gutters, downspout, 0%. Temperature controls, HVAC, 0%. Gas piping, 0. And they say that job's on course. It was supposed to be early summer. Then it was midsummer. Now it's late fall. Hell, it won't be open till next summer. But we do hope it opens. But Eckert, Don't lie to us. Don't lie to the taxpayers. Pyramid Electric. They went to a two-man crew due to lack of unanswered questions and payment status. Taylor Roofing delayed working on site due to payment status. Now, this comes from Impact Strategy. This was apparently an inside memo to Impact Strategies. Southern Illinois Interiors went to another project, left the site, and went to another project due to payment status. Do you understand, people? The interior work, zero. Everything, zero. And it's been 6-8 months. And the last thing I have to say, there is not going to be any 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 star hotel there. And think about it, people. Doesn't it piss you off when Eckert continues to say, oh, they haven't decided yet, or this or that? If it had been a good location, if it had been a good development, every Sheraton, every Ramada Inn, every 5-4 hotel, they would have been beating the doors down to get there. Nobody wants to come because it's a bad development. It's in a bad area. Eckert knew that, but I guess to keep his son working as an assistant supervisor, see, they'll sell their soul to take care of them and their families. They'll sell their soul to get elected politically, and that's what's wrong, people. That's what's totally, totally wrong. Also, I got a lot of comments. And I appreciate the gentleman who calls all the time with the information. One guy called, said he wants Dupert signs out of his yard. 3 or 4 people called and agreed with me, and a lot of people on the street stopped me and everybody, in essence, agreed with me. Why? Why, Dupert, are you bringing up a tragedy for a family that has nothing to do with your election? Why don't you run against John Barra Civic, John Red on the Noodle like a pecker on a poodle Barra Civic, instead of running against a dead man whose family's still suffering, but you don't give a damn about his children, you don't give a damn about his parents, you don't give a damn about his wife or his friends, you give a damn about getting elected to judge, you asswipe son of a bitch. And people don't appreciate that, Dupert. There's enough negativity in Barra Civic's life. There's enough negativity for you to beat his ass on the basic principles. Not bringing up a dead man, you no good son of a bitch. And I got to say, people, that situation with the judges, it wasn't right. Those guys made mistakes. It really didn't. Now, you think about it. It didn't affect my life. It didn't affect your life. This poor judge. And I don't really like to mention his name because I don't want the children to have to live through it. But this poor judge that died of an overdose, he had a problem. That's a disease. Addiction is a disease, people. He had a problem. But the worst problem is, not for him now, but for his family, to fight through this. I'm fighting through it every day with my son. I know. And a lot of you people have lost your sons, your daughters. You know how it hurts. But Dupert, you ignorant bastard. And then Dupert says he's taken drug test. Well, hell yeah, Dupert. I'm not saying you have taken drugs, but you could have cleaned yourself up. It's not a random drug test, Dupert, you idiot. When you expound on how you've taken drug tests. Well, sure. A big dope addict could get clean enough to take a drug test. You got to take a random drug test, Dupert. Unless you're smart enough to not know what a random drug test is, you're just giving the people the old okey-fa-doke. And then what really pisses me off, you hypocritical bastard, you're trying to deflect all your egregious crap. You know what I'm talking about, Dupert. You know what I'm talking about. How the hell can you talk about anybody, Dupert? And it was in the News Democrat that you were charged to have allegedly fondled a young 18-year-old black man. And again, I hope you fondled him with your hands and not with your lips, because if you fondled him with your lips, that's not fondling. I know that's hard for some of you people to listen to me, but that's reality, people. Here's an asswipe son of a bitch who's casting a bad light on a dead man, that family's still hurting, running against a dead man instead of running against Barra Civic. And he's going to be so hypocritical. But see, he's a good Republican. He's a good Republican. And I challenge you, Congressman Bost. I challenge you, Governor Rauner, to denounce this guy. You're conservative Republicans. And I'm sure you guys are nice guys. I know you know what's going on in St. Clair County. But you guys, are you still supporting the candidacy of Ron Dildo Dupert? I ask you, Congressman Bost. I ask you, Governor Rauner. And also, are you guys supporting Doug Jamieson, who was charged with domestic battery, charged with DUI, charged with not paying $100,000 of child support? It don't take a man to make a boy, make a girl. It takes a man to support a boy or a girl, a child. And apparently you're not much of a man, Jamieson. But Congressman Bost, Governor Rauner, you haven't condemned those people. I get condemned by the Republican Party because I cuss them out because I think they're a bunch of asswipes. I think they're hypocritical son of a bitches. And as bad as I am, I don't want to be around these people. So that tells you how bad they are. Congressman Bost, I ask you. And by the way, Congressman, I got to ask you this, kind of off the record, just me and you talking. Did you honestly say that there's too many stray animals and they all should be, in your words, and I'm asking you, did you say they all should be euthanized? That's a nice word. You've heard me before. You mean killed. You mean killed, Congressman Bost. Is that what you mean? For all you animal lovers out there, I know, and I'm an animal lover, I know you don't appreciate that. And Mike Bost, you know why he's mad at me? See, people, I go crazy. I don't script much of my crap. Congressman Bost got mad at me a couple years back. I found out, and apparently it's true, he never defended himself, that his daughter, heaven forbid, she got bit by a beagle. He said the beagle attacked her. I've never seen a beagle attack a little girl. Apparently the cute little girl, I'm sure she's a nice young lady, probably had her face down by the dog, probably aggravated the dog, which doesn't take much. Dog probably bit Congressman Bost's daughter, and I hate for that because I know he's got a lovely family. He comes home. Apparently, I say apparently, don't know all the facts, but I'm going to find him again. I'm going to go through my records. Apparently, he gets mad. The dog's owner takes the dog, takes him back to the pen, and what's Congressman Bost do? I think he was a state rep back in the day. And Congressman, you ain't white, or you weren't white Earp, were you? But the congressman goes to this house, walks to this house with his gun, and blows the dog away. The dog laying in the pen. You hear me, Congressman? I don't give a damn. You vote for me. I don't give a damn if you get all your friends to vote against me. That ain't right. That ain't right, Congressman Bost. And he wasn't charged with anything because, see, he's a big trucker down there in Murfreesboro. They don't want to charge a state representative. But, see, that's their problem, people. These politicians are no better than we are. You got this crazy federal crap going on with Hillary Clinton. Same with Trump. You know, to me, that's who you're going to vote for, the lesser of the two evils at this presidential election. But, you know, that's the way it is. But I want to thank the gentleman that talked about Dupert taking the sign out of the yard. And also, where am I at here? Oh, I got to tell you, people in Cahokia, this lady calls. She went to the grocery store in Cahokia, got a lot of groceries. They rang up her bill, sales tax in Cahokia, people, because of Curtis McCall's crap, 13.5%. That's the Democratic-run Cahokia. Of course, they got to have money to pay their hotshot city attorney, Bob. I'd rather piss in my pants than piss in a urinal Sprague. 13.5% in an impoverished area like Cahokia, Illinois. She left the food right on the counter. She did not. She said, I will not pay 13.5% sales tax. And you know what that does to everybody else in Cahokia, people? They're running the people out of Cahokia going to South County, coming to Belleville. And Curtis McCall and his people have spent over $175,000 on grass cutting in Cahokia. And they tell me one of the people involved in getting that money is the son of one of the village board members. Once again, people, the political inbreeding. You guys don't understand that. If you knew the total picture, if these guys were transparent, not only would you throw them out of office, they'd all be in federal pen. Because it's corrupt. It's totally corrupt, the crap that they do. We're going to take care of our housekeeping. Again, stick around, Mr. Kurt Prenzler, the Madison County Treasurer and candidate for Madison County Board Chairman. He'll be coming in momentarily, so stick around. That'll be very interesting. Let's take care of our housekeeping. Lines are always open. We are America's voice of freedom. Definitely the Patriot. You can call toll-free 1-888-394-1430. On the east side, 394-1190. Mount Pleasant Cemetery Fish Fry, Mount Pleasant Piasaw Methodist Church. Coming up this Saturday, August the 27th, from 4 to 7 p.m., all the funds raised will help the continued maintenance of the Mount Pleasant Cemetery. If you guys can get out there, please do. American Legion Post, 1937, having their meat, shoot, and wheel raffle at TR's place on Sunday, August the 28th, located at 4901 Concordia Church Road. It starts at noon. Any information like to get involved, you can call Commander Jim Farbus at 618-409-1212. The great people of Millstadt, another Millstadt Community Blood Drive coming up Thursday, September the 8th from 4 to 8 p.m. It's sponsored by the Millstadt Consolidated Multi-Room School District. It'll be held at 211 West Mill Street in Millstadt. It says, please bring a valid photo ID. You can contact Marge if you'd like to donate at 401-5122. Isn't it something? You got to have an ID to give blood. You got to have an ID to buy beer and cigarettes. You have an ID sometimes to buy paint at the store, but you don't need an ID to vote in St. Clair County. That shows you how unimportant these ass-white politicians in St. Clair County think your vote is. The 4th annual Trivia Night coming up this Saturday, August the 27th at Genesis Banquet Center, located at 2651 Telegraph Road in St. Louis. It's for the Spirit of St. Louis, Voltaire Local 38 of the 40 and 8. I still don't understand that, but you can call Bob Wagner at 314-729-7020. Coming up September the 10th, our good friends at New Memphis Station having a customer appreciation hog roast. They're going to have music, says bring your band, bring your music, going to be a live band. Any questions, you can contact Cliff at 618-588-3000. The American Legion, I got that one. Hey, they're having a tax meeting Wednesday, August the 31st at the Freeburg Library at 1:30 p.m. General help with new assessments or tax bills. And I want to thank Mr. Frank Allegestein. He's the county board member out in that area from Freeburg. What a great job he does to keep the people of Freeburg informed. So, Frank, I want to thank you for all the work that you do as a public servant, not a politician, as a public servant for the good people, not only of Freeburg, but all throughout St. Clair County. The Village of Caseyville, their annual picnic and fireworks display. It was rescheduled due to rain. Will be held this Saturday, August the 27th, at the Caseyville Park. They're going to have washer tournaments. Picnic opens at 5 p.m. They're going to have pizza, wings, pulled pork. They're going to have a car cruise. They're going to have trophies. And then they're going to have fireworks at dusk. Mayor Black informed me that's going to be one of the biggest fireworks displays you've ever seen. And I want to thank our good friend Mayor Black and the First Lady of Caseyville, Doris Black, for all they do for the good people of Caseyville. Saturday, August the 27th, the O'Fallon Underwater Search and Rescue Recovery Team will be having a fundraiser barbecue at the Knights of Columbus in O'Fallon. It will start at 9:30 a.m. and will continue till the food is gone. These guys from OSART, they're the guys that don't get paid. They have to pay their own way. They have to pay for their equipment to go down and recover drowned bodies and recover evidence, that I think the state should be paying for that. But anyway, they're a great group of guys, and they're trying to raise money to help us out. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can contact Mr. Chris Heatherly at 618-409-8453. What a great group of guys, and thank you for your service to the community. Don't forget, you can pick me up on iTunes. Type in Bob Romanik and or the Grim Reaper of Radio. You can go to our streaming site, insanebroadcasting.com. One word, common spelling, for the best of all three of our great radio stations. You can listen to my repeat performance every day at 4 o'clock p.m., Monday through Friday, and now broadcasting from the graveyard to the graveyard shift every night at the stroke of midnight. Please like us on Facebook, KQQZ 1190 AM or KZQZ 1430 AM. Go to my personal Facebook page, Fans of the Grim Reaper, and also Bob Romanik for State Representative. But never forget, Facebook, the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition on Facebook. On this date, August the 24th, 1814, British forces invaded Washington, D.C. and proceeded to set fire to the Capitol in the White House during the War of 1812. On this date, August the 24th, 1932, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly non-stop across the United States, traveling from Los Angeles to New York in just over 19 hours. On this date, August the 24th, 1956, the first non-stop transcontinental helicopter flight arrived in Washington, D.C. Yeah, this is a good one. August the 24th, 1977, Waylon Jennings, who was named an honorary police chief in Nashville, was arrested on cocaine charges. See, that's these politicians. Do as I say, not as they do. On this date, August the 24th, 1989, Pete Rose, the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, was banned from baseball for life after he was caught betting on baseball games. On this date, August the 24th, 2008, 3 men were arrested in Denver in connection with an alleged plot to assassinate United States presidential candidate Barack Obama. That's what happened on this date, August the 24th, throughout all these years in our world's history. I want to say before we go to break, 2 things. I want to say hi to a good friend, Butch Roberts. He's a letter carrier out of St. Louis. Him and his family listen all the time. Butch, thank you very much. And today, Dave Shreve, remember, he's the veteran out of Cahokia. They were having a fundraiser to raise money for the veterans in Cahokia, I believe at the VFW. Curtis McCall would not turn the lights on, so this gentleman broke a $4 lock to get in to turn the lights on, and they had him arrested. Now he's going to court today. So Dave Shreve, we wish you the best. And you see what ass-white politicians, these no good son of a bitches, they don't give a damn about us. They don't give a damn about the veterans. They don't give a damn about this country. All they give a damn about is themselves and their families. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, insane broadcasting at its finest, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. Our special guest just walked through the door. Give him time to get his headsets on. Mr. Kurt Prenzler. I called and asked him if he'd come on and talk about his race, talk about what he's done as a Madison County treasurer, and he did not hesitate to say, Bob Romanik, I'll be more than happy to come on. And I know Kurt's a good family man, a good Christian, and I know he probably doesn't. I hope he agrees with some of the things I say. I'm sure he doesn't agree with the way I say them, and I understand that. But before we let Mr. Prenzler come on the air, the disclaimer once again: don't hold anything I've said in the past, in the present, or in the future against Mr. Prenzler. He's not here to endorse me, my views on politics, my language on politics, my lifestyle, or nothing about me. Mr. Kurt Prenzler is taking time out of his busy schedule to address the good people of Madison County, to be transparent, to be what a true public servant is supposed to be, available to the public. Mr. Kurt Prenzler, it's an honor and a privilege to have you, sir. How you doing today?
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, I looked at some of your campaign literature, and it just, you've done more in a little time in office than some of these politicians have done in 20 years. I've read here that you promised, and you did, to reduce the treasurer's budget by 30%, and you saved the taxpayers $2 million. Is that true?
That's right. That was one of my promises when I ran for treasurer.
Now, you saved the county $2 million. That's unbelievable, but that any elected official, and I have to say I believe you to be a public servant trying to help all the people, not a politician helping you and your friends, to reduce the treasurer's budget by 30%, that means that you didn't hire a lot of family and friends, Kurt. You couldn't have, to reduce the budget by that much.
That's right. Bob, before I ran for county treasurer, well, I actually ran in 2006, and I lost in 2006. And
No, Kurt, I got to say, you're not a loser because you fought the fight. You're not a loser unless you don't try. You're not a loser unless you quit. You didn't quit, and I want to salute you for fighting the Democratic arm up there in Madison County that's been controlled for so many years. And you kind of kicked them in the ass this last time when you won. I don't think they were ready for you, were they?
Well, you know, going back to 2006, I had never worked for the government a day in my life. And like so many people, you know, I'm paying high property taxes. And all I hear, you know, from government bureaucrats is they've cut to the bone. They can't cut. And I thought to myself, you know what? I looked at the numbers. I called other county treasurers, and I saw how much they were spending in other counties. And I said, you know what? I can make that promise. I can promise to cut that by 30%. In addition, when I called around to other county treasurers, Bob, other counties outside of this area laughed at me. They said, do you know where you are? You're in Madison County. That's a pay-to-play county. And do you know what's going on with the tax sales there? And so they explained it to me. They knew what was going on in Madison County. It was going on in 2005. I ran in 2006. I told people about it. It was complicated. The whole tax sale scandal was complicated. But the bottom line is that they rigged the auctions, and it cost, over 4 years, 2005, 6, 7, and 8, it cost the taxpayers of Madison County $4 to $5 million. Now, it didn't cost the people who paid their taxes on time. It cost the people who didn't have the money for one reason or another. They couldn't pay their taxes on time, and they had to pay $4 to $5 million of additional penalty interest because those auctions were rigged. Now, why were they rigged? And I can say this now because the former county treasurer, Fred Bathon, went to federal prison along with 3 tax buyers, and they admitted that there was political contributions. And so you kind of read the national news, and you're reading about Hillary, and I mean, I'm stunned. I don't want to get off in national politics, and I shouldn't. But anyway, it's kind of more of the same. Right. So it's you wash my hand, I'll wash yours, and so. That, I ran and I talked about that in 2006, and I got beat. And so people encouraged me to come back and run in 2010, and I said, you know what? I just really don't have the time to put in that I put in 2006. And they said, you know what, Kurt? Lightning might just strike. So go ahead. You got to at least put your name on the ballot. So I did, and you know what? Lightning struck. Yeah. And so I was able to win, and the first thing I did is I reduced my budget by 30%. From $1 million down to $700,000 a year, and then we also automated the tax sale. Honestly, it was easy as pie, just doing it the right way. And those were things that's why I ran. I ran because high property taxes, and that's still why I'm running, It's why I'm running for county board chairman. And another reason is I think that, whether you've got a group from whatever party, when you've got such domination by one party over a long period of time, bad things happen. And I think that our founding fathers, who the veterans have really devoted so much of their lifetime, energy, and ability to, the founding fathers believed in checks and balances. And when you've got one group in charge 100%, human nature takes over. You have bad things happen, and that's what we've seen.
You know what, Kurt, what I appreciate coming from a poor household and a lot of poor people, you're right, it wasn't the people that had the money to pay the taxes that got hurt, that got screwed by this tax situation with Fred Bathon and those tax buyers. It was the people that couldn't afford to pay their taxes anyway. And if you can't afford to pay them, then sometimes you lose your property. But what I like, Kurt, you were fighting for the little man as well as the people that, see, these people that you fought for, I guarantee you, if they could donate to you, they probably would, but they can't. And nobody is the voice of the underprivileged, of the less fortunate. I am, you are, and I think that's what community service is all about. And you've taken it a step further. You exposed a lot of that unethical tax sales, and because of that, there's a lot of poor people that are still living in the homes that they probably wouldn't be living in now.
Well, I think what we've done is what we've done is automated those sales, and it's just like a business person would do it. And I also think too that when people are all people. When people are in political office, they turn into politicians, and then they cross that line, and then they think, you know what, that tax money, that's my money.
Right.
And we always have to remember, it's not my money.
Kurt, you talk, and I'm going to get into why you're going to run, or why you are running for Madison County Board Chairman. And I've been up to Madison County quite a bit, and I think you've got support on both sides, because I think the Democrats, just like in St. Clair County, they're tired of this one-party rule. They're tired of the culture of corruption. They're going to vote the person, not the party. But you talked about the veterans, and I don't know what you know about it. I know you're up at the courthouse all the time, but we're going to be broadcasting live Friday because of this situation with Brad Leviti, who was a veteran who I guess had a little meltdown, had a little problem, got the medical help he needed, and he probably had the problem because of his service to our great country, protecting us, that the county will not let him in the office. I'm going to go up there. I hear there's going to be a lot of veterans. Can you tell us anything about that?
That's also what I know, Bob. There are going to be a lot of veterans. This will be, I think, Friday at 10 o'clock.
Right.
Between the county administration building and the county courthouse. And I'll just tell you a couple of things that I know for sure. And that is that Brad Leviti has, in my opinion, done a very good job as the leader of the Veterans Assistance Commission. And there are two things that we've worked together with him on in the Treasurer's office. And number one, and all your veterans who are listening need to hear this again and again, the benefits, if you're disabled, if you're 70% disabled in Illinois today, you don't have to pay a tax bill. But you've got to register. You've got to come forward and say that so that you don't get that tax bill. But the benefits for disabled benefits have tax benefits for disabled veterans have gone up. And so my office has worked. We're just doing our job.
Right.
We're just getting the word out, and we've been very effective at doing that. And then also Brad Leviti in the Veterans Assistance Commission had additional money where if you had a veteran who was who had in a particular circumstance where he couldn't pay his taxes, they actually had some money to help him. And so we helped publicize that with Brad. Let me make another point. And I think I listened the other day when the candidate for state's attorney, Ron Williams, he's also a tremendous veteran.
Yes, he is. I want to salute him for his great service to our country.
And he made the point that, in the county administration building in Madison County, we've got the state's attorney's office, we've got the public defender's office, we've got the probation office. Every day, people come in and out of that building who have done bad things, who allegedly have done dangerous and bad things. And we've got deputies, very good deputies, who are armed in that building. And I feel very safe. And so I think in comparison, you know what I'm saying on that point.
Yeah. Here, and I'm going to segue into this. Your opponent, Mr. Alan Dunstan, he's the county board chairman. And if I'm a veteran, this is Bob Romanik speaking, if I'm a veteran I wouldn't vote for him on a bet, because the county board chairman can dictate who comes in that county building. And I was told, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I was told by several people that Alan Dunstan, your opponent, is leading the charge. And this is not a charge against just one gentleman. This is a charge against the veterans, every veteran in Madison County, and a charge against our great country. I don't understand why this Dunstan would be such an idiot, Kurt.
I think that's why the veterans are going to be there at 10 o'clock on Friday. And one other thing, I do know a lot of folks in Madison County, Bob, who listen to your show. And there are a lot of folks who listen to your show, but they may not think they can do anything. They may not think they're smart enough. Right. They may not think they're articulate enough. They may not think they've got good enough clothes. But, it's important that everybody does their part. And they may think, I can't talk like Bob Romanik. I can't.
Well, hopefully they can and won't.
But I would encourage folks to do something. Don't underestimate just what you can do, and get out there and do something.
Yeah, you know what, Kurt? We spoke off the air. You're right. We got to get these people that have been beat down politically, these people that are apathetic. If we get the apathetic people out to vote, these corrupt politicians will lose 3-4 to 1, and that's a great point. People, get out and vote. They always say your vote counts, and it does. Let's really make it count. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our special guest, Mr. Kurt Prenzler, Madison County Treasurer, and the people's candidate for Madison County Board Chairman. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio, and we are, as always, very, very proud to be the Patriot. This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot. With us, Mr. Kurt Prenzler. He's the Madison County Treasurer and the People's candidate for Madison County Board Chairman. And Kurt, there's been a lawsuit, I believe. Can you explain the lawsuit the Madison County is involved in about the tax sale situation?
Bob, it's estimated that the taxpayers who were late, who couldn't pay their taxes on time, and who got flim-flammed by these 4 years of rigged tax sales, they're out $4 to $5 million, and they want their money. So these folks, and there are more than 7,000 of them, they have brought a class action lawsuit against Madison County. Now, and that kind of reminds me of the first time I met you, Bob, because actually a tax buyer down in St. Clair County contacted me and said, Kurt, we've seen what you've been doing up there, and would you look at the numbers down in St. Clair County? And I did. And so I went down to St. Clair County, and I spoke in front of the county building there with this tax buyer. And I was explaining how there were some real similarities between what took place in St. Clair County and Madison County in 2007 and 2008. And all of a sudden, these two big guys come out of the county building and start heckling us. And lo and behold, that's the first time I met you. You were right behind me, or you came up next to me and started to give them the business, tell them to quiet down. And I don't think anybody's called you an angel, Bob, but you kind of appeared like that day.
Hey, you know what, Kurt? I did that because I've been following you. I believe you were right, and that's what's wrong. We've got thugs in St. Clair County. We've got thugs in Madison County. And, Kurt, we've got about 5-6 more minutes. I want to know, what is your main major motivation for running for county board chairman?
3 things. I want to keep it real simple. 3 things. We need a change in Madison County. The county board, we got a machine. Everybody knows that in Madison County, a Democrat machine. The county chairman's been on the county board for 35 years. He's been county chairman for 14 years, and he's been supervisor of Jarvis Township for like more than 25 years. Professional politician. It's time for a change. That's number one. Number 2, high property taxes. Every year, Madison County taxes 10% more than what they need. What do they do with that money? They keep building a rainy day fund. Well, they're just out of touch. If you don't need it, you shouldn't tax for it. So the thing I will do, and what I'm demanding, is that we reduce the county tax levy by 10%.
Great.
And the third thing is ethics. And you know, when you got one group running things for a long time, they forget that it's not their money, and they start using it like their money. And that gets into, like, for example, the credit card. The county board chairman's had a credit card. Now, we don't have all the information that we've asked for, but we've identified 14 times when the county board chairman used that credit card to use it to buy personal things, including things on a trip out to Napa Valley, California.
Oh, they need that out there. Yeah, that's good for the taxpayers of Madison County.
And as I understand it, the auditor's office pointed out that he needed to pay this back, and so he paid it back. But the fact is, you know what? I don't have a credit card. I don't need a credit card.
Will you have a credit card as St. Clair County Board Chairman?
No, it's Madison County Board.
I'm sorry, Madison.
I don't need a credit card. What do I need a credit card for? If I buy something, let's say if I go in a county, go to the county convention. We do have a state convention of county officials. If I rent a hotel room, I'll use my own credit card and get paid back.
Reimbursed. Yeah, yep. Have documentation.
That's what I do right now.
Well, you know, people of Madison County, that alone should make you vote for Kurt Prenzler. Kurt, we've got a few more minutes. I want to know, and I think the good people of Madison County deserve to know, and I see that you're a CPA, which I salute you for that. What are some of your accomplishments? Can you give us a little rundown? As
treasurer, first of all, I kept my promise. I reduced the cost of my office by 30%. At this point, we've saved over $2 million. I cleaned up, automated the tax sale, and ended those shenanigans. We also, with the investments, there was a lot of shenanigans going on with the investments. We cleaned that up, and we've tripled our investments. Bob, we've got $140 million in the portfolio in Madison County. We have a lot of money. But I've tripled the deposits in local banks from 30 to 90 million. Before, we've had a situation, we don't have time to talk about it, but the county treasurers before were investing all the money through a Little Rock, Arkansas bond salesman.
Oh, that's good.
With no competitive bidding at high commissions. So we've also got a referendum on the ballot, Bob, in November. We worked really hard to reduce county property taxes. We got 10,000 signatures against the opposition of Democrat elected officials, and then they challenged us in court for 2 months, but we won because we had the signatures. And that's on the November ballot. Everybody should look out for that. They'll have an opportunity to vote to reduce the county portion of the property taxes.
Mr. Kurt Prenzler, it really has. I'm going to give you, we've got about another minute and a half. I'm going to give you the last word that you can let the good people of Madison County know. And I tell you, people in Madison County, I don't live there, but if I lived there, I would vote for this gentleman because he is a breath of fresh air. He is the new breed. He is the breed of people that are coming up that are going to be public servants, not politicians, going to be public servants to take care of you, the people, his bosses. Kurt, you've got last word.
Well, you know, when I was running one time, an old gentleman in Madison County said, you know, Sonny, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but it ain't going to work because it's always been like this and it's always going to be like this. And you know what? It doesn't have to be. And so I know, Bob, you have a huge listening audience in Madison County, and I would encourage the people to get active. And you know what? Our founding fathers and the veterans who have died for this country, you may not be young enough to join the military, but you can get active and do something, and you should, because this country has a proud history.
Mr. Kurt Prenzler, you're a candidate in Madison County for county board chairman, and you good people in Madison County, you better research, you better understand what the democratic culture of corruption in Madison County has done for all these years. Kurt Prenzler is helping to make this country what it is, a democracy, a two-party system. And I would say up in Madison County, vote the person, not the party. Mr. Kurt Prenzler, thank you very much. The best of luck to you, sir.
Bob.
We got to go. Everybody have a safe one. Friends and foe, we'll see you tomorrow. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you've been listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio, and we are, as always, very, very proud to be the Patriot. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember what Mr. Prenzler has just said. Word to the wise. People can and people will make a difference. Let's get out. Let's vote election day. Let's vote the person, not the party. Let's vote the people that are going to change for the positive. Let's get back to a two-party system, and not so much for the parties, but for the people. Let the people have a choice. Mr. Kurt Prenzler is giving the people of Madison County the opportunity to have a choice, the opportunity to put someone in as your county board chairman who will do a good job, who will run on his record, who is an educated man who wants to help the people, not the politicians. Let's get behind him in Madison County, and together we can unite. We can all, throughout this great country, continue to expose these asswipe, rotten, political, parasitical, low-life, bottom-feeding political punks that we call politicians. Drag them over the political coals of hell. And when it's all said and done, November the 8th, the perfect storm. Let's take these incumbents, let's put them to the side of the cliff, the political cliff, of course, and push them over. Get rid of them. Make way for the new generation of public servants, not politicians. Oh, and by the way, push them over and destroy them politically, of course. No violence. Right here on the dark side.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all